Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack the origin story of a modern myth, the tale of an unwanted boy who finds out he's not just a wizard, but a symbol of hope in a world he never even knew was real.
So, how exactly does a boy in a dusty cupboard under the stairs become a legend holding a wand in front of a magical castle? Well, that's the story of this incredible transformation, a classic hero's journey that kicks off in the most ordinary and honestly miserable of places.
So our story starts in a perfectly normal, non-magical world. And here we meet Harry Potter, an orphan whose entire reality is basically a small, dark cupboard and a life filled with quiet misery and neglect. Harry's raised by his relatives, the Dursleys, and they don't just mistreat him, they go out of their way to crush any hint of his magical past. So he grows up feeling completely and utterly alone, thinking there's absolutely nothing special about him. But then, on his 11th birthday, everything changes. The ordinary world is just shattered forever when a mysterious letter shows up, an invitation that is about to change the entire course of his life.
A giant of a man named Hagrid just shows up, and the truth comes crashing down. As we can see on this timeline, Harry finds out he's a wizard, and not just any wizard, he's famous. He's the boy who lived, the only person to ever survive an attack by the evil wizard Lord Voldemort, an attack that killed his parents but somehow only left him with a lightning bolt scar. And now, an invitation is waiting for him to a magical school called Hogwarts.
At Hogwarts, Harry gets sorted into Gryffindor House, and for the first time in his entire life, you can tell he feels like he actually belongs somewhere. He immediately forms this unbreakable bond with his new best friends, the loyal Ron Weasley and the brilliant, always has her nose in a book Hermione Granger. This is the family he never had.
And what's really important to get is that Hogwarts is so much more than just a school for Harry. It's a place where he starts to discover who he is. He finds out he has this natural talent for flying, becoming the youngest Quidditch player in a century, and he finally begins to build an identity for himself that has nothing to do with being the unwanted boy in the cupboard. But as the school year gets going, the trio of friends discovers that there's a dangerous mystery hidden deep inside the castle's ancient walls, and their new home might not be as safe as it seems.
So at the very heart of this mystery is this thing, the Philosopher's Stone. It's a legendary artifact that's supposed to grant eternal life. You know, exactly the kind of thing a desperate, weakened, dark wizard would do anything to get his hands on.
The friends pretty quickly become convinced that someone is trying to steal it. And as they start digging up clues, all signs seem to point toward one of their most feared and intimidating teachers.
They're pretty sure the potions master, Severus Snape, is the one trying to steal the stone for Voldemort. Fearing the absolute worst, Harry, Ron, and Hermione decide they can't trust the adults on this one. They have to take matters into their own hands.
This courageous, if maybe a little reckless decision leads them down a trapdoor and straight into a series of dangerous magical trials. These are defenses designed to protect the very artifact they're trying to save.
And this is where the power of their friendship really shines. I mean, from navigating enchanted plants and catching flying keys, to winning a brutal, life-sized game of wizard's chess and solving a logic puzzle with potions, each challenge is perfectly tailored to a different skill set. They need Hermione's logic, Ron's strategy, and Harry's flying skills. The only way they can succeed is by working together. So when Harry finally makes it to the last chamber, he doesn't find the menacing Snape. Instead, he finds the stuttering, timid Professor Quirrell. But the real shock isn't just who the villain is, it's what he's been hiding under his turban this whole time. Quirrell reveals he hasn't been working for Voldemort, he's been a host to him. The weakened Dark Lord has been surviving as a parasite, literally attached to the back of Quirrell's head, desperate to use the stone to get a body again.
In the final, terrifying confrontation, Harry manages to survive, not because he's a better wizard, but because of an ancient, powerful magic he never even knew he had. The whole thing is resolved by a magic that's deeper than any spell, Harry's touch, which is protected by the power of his mother's love and sacrifice, completely destroys Quirrell. Voldemort's spirit is forced to flee, beaten once again. So Harry has won the battle, but with the enemy escaping, it is crystal clear the war is far from over.
For their incredible bravery and loyalty, Harry, Ron, and Hermione are awarded a massive number of last-minute house points. It's enough to clinch the annual House Cup for Gryffindor in this amazing, triumphant moment. So he has to go back to the Dursleys for the summer, back to his so-called ordinary world.
But everything has changed. He's no longer just the unwanted boy in a cupboard. He's a hero who has found a real family and a home that he can't wait to get back to.
And this leaves us with the critical question that's going to drive the rest of this epic saga. Harry survived his first trial, he's proven he's a hero. But how can one boy possibly defeat an enemy who has already cheated death and is dead set on becoming immortal?